Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 36. And it came to be in the 14th year of sovereign Hizqiyahu that Sancheriv, sovereign of Ashshur, came up against all the walled cities of Yahuda and took them. And the sovereign of Ashshur sent the Rabshakeh with a great army from Lachish to sovereign Hizqiyahu at Jerusalem. And he stood by the channel of the upper pool on the highway to the launderer's field. And there came to him Eliakim, son of Hilkiyahu, who was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and Yochah, son of Asaph the recorder. The Rabshakeh then said to them, Please say to Hizqiyahu, Thus said the great sovereign, the sovereign of Ashshur, What trust is this in which you trust? I say, you speak of having counsel and strength for battle, but they are vain words. Now in whom do you trust that you have rebelled against me? Look, you are trusting in the staff of this broken reed Mitzrayim, on which if a man leans, it shall go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh the sovereign of Mitzrayim to all who trust in him. But if you say to me, We trust in Yahweh our Elohim, is it not he whose high places and whose altars Hizqiyahu has taken away and has said to Yahuda and to Jerusalem, Bow yourselves before this altar? And now I urge you, please give a pledge to my master the sovereign of Ashshur, and I give you 2,000 horses, if you are able on your part to put riders on them. And how do you refuse one officer of the least of my master's servants, and put your trust in Mitzrayim for chariots and horsemen? And now have I come up without Yahuah against this land to destroy it? Yahuah said to me, Go up against this land and destroy it. And Eliakim, Shebna, and Yochach said to the Rabshakeh, Please speak to your servants in Aramaic, for we understand it, and do not speak to us in the language of Yahuda in the hearing of the people who are on the wall. But the Rabshakeh said, Has my master sent me to your master and to you to speak these words, and not to the men who sit on the wall to eat their own dung and drink their own urine with you? And the Rabshakeh stood and called out with a loud voice in the language of Yahuda and said, Hear the words of the great sovereign, the sovereign of Ashshur. Thus said the sovereign, Do not let Hizqiyahu deceive you, for he is unable to deliver you. And do not let Hizqiyahu make you trust in Yahuah, saying, Yahuah shall certainly deliver us. This city is not given into the hand of the sovereign of Ashshur. Do not listen to Hizqiyahu, for thus said the sovereign of Ashshur, Make peace with me by a present, and come out to me, and let each of you eat from his own vine, and eat from his own fig tree, and each of you drink the waters of his own cistern, until I come. Then I shall take you away to a land like your own land, a land of grain and new wine, a land of bread and vineyards. Beware lest Hizqiyahu mislead you, saying, Yahuah shall deliver us. Has any of the mighty ones of the nations delivered its lands from the hand of the sovereign of Ashshur? Where are the mighty ones of Hamath and Arpad? Where are the mighty ones of Sepharvaim? And when have they delivered Shamaron from my hand? Who among all the mighty ones of these lands have delivered their land from my hand, that Yahuah should deliver Jerusalem from my hand? But they were silent and answered him not a word, for the command of the sovereign was, Do not answer him. And Eliakim, son of Hilkiyahu, who was over the household, Shebna the scribe, and Yochah, son of Asaph the recorder, came to Hizqiyahu with their garments torn, and they reported to him the words of the Rabshakeh. Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 37. And it came to be, when sovereign Hizqiyahu heard it, that he tore his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the house of Yahuah, and sent Eliakim, who was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the Kohanim, covering themselves with sackcloth, to Yeshayahu the Nevi, the son of Amos. And they said to him, Thus said Hizqiyahu, This day is a day of distress and rebuke and scorn, for the children have come to birth, but there is no strength to bring forth. It could be that Yahweh, your Elohim, hears the words of the Rabshakeh, whom his master, the sovereign of Ashshur, has sent to reproach the living Elohim, and shall rebuke the words which Yahweh, your Elohim, has heard. Therefore, lift up your prayer for the remnant that is left. So the servants of sovereign Hizqiyahu came to Yeshayahu, and Yeshayahu said to them, "Say this to your master. Thus said Yahuah, do not be afraid of the words which you have heard, with which the servants of the sovereign of Ashshur have reviled me. See, I am putting a spirit in him, and he shall hear a report and return to his own land, and I shall cause him to fall by the sword in his own land." And the Rivshakeh returned and found the sovereign of Ashshur fighting against Lifnah, for he had heard that he had left Lachish. And he heard concerning Tirhakah, sovereign of Cush, he has come out to fight with you. And when he heard it, he sent messengers to Hizqiyahu, saying, "Speak to Hizqiyahu, the sovereign of Yahuda, saying, do not let your Elohim in whom you trust deceive you, saying, Jerusalem is not given into the hand of the sovereign of Ashshur. See, you have heard what the sovereigns of Ashshur have done to all lands by putting them under the ban. And are you going to be delivered? Have the mighty ones of the nations delivered those whom my fathers have destroyed, Gozan, and Haran, and Reseph, and the sons of Eden who were in Telesar? Where is the sovereign of Hamath, and the sovereign of Arpad, and the sovereign of the city of Sepharvaim, Chena, and Iwah?" And Hizqiyahu received the letter from the hand of the messengers and read it. And Hizqiyahu went up to the house of Yahuah and spread it before Yahuah. And Hizqiyahu prayed to Yahuah, saying, "O Yahuah of hosts, Elohim of Yisrael, the one who dwells between the cherubim, you are Elohim, you alone. Of all the reigns of the earth, you have made the Shamayim and earth. Incline your ear, O Yahuah, and hear. Open your eyes, O Yahuah, and see, and hear all the words of Sancheriv, who has sent to reproach the living Elohim. Truly, Yahuah, the sovereigns of Ashshur have laid waste all the lands and their land, and have put their mighty ones into the fire, for they were not mighty ones, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone, and they destroyed them. And now, O Yahuah, our Elohim, save us from his hand, so that all the reigns of the earth know that you are Yahuah, you alone." Then Yeshayahu, son of Amos, sent to Hizqiyahu, saying, "Thus said Yahuah, Elohim of Yisrael, because you have prayed to me against Sancheriv, sovereign of Ashshur, this is the word which Yahuah has spoken concerning him. The maiden, the daughter of Zion, has despised you, mocked you. The daughter of Jerusalem has shaken her head behind you. Whom have you reproached and reviled? And against whom have you raised your voice and lifted up your eyes in pride? Against the Kadosh one of Yisrael. By the hand of your servants you have reproached Yahuah and said, with my chariots I have come up to the height of the mountains, to the limits of Lebanon, and I cut down its tall cedars and its choice cypress trees, and I enter its farthest height, its thickest forest. I have dug and drunk water, and with the soles of my feet I have dried up all the streams of defense. Have you not heard long ago how I made it, from days of old, that I formed it? Now I have brought it about that you should be for crushing walled cities in heaps of ruins, and their inhabitants were powerless. They were overthrown and put to shame. They were as the grass of the field, and as the green plant, as the grass on the housetops, and as grain blighted before it is grown. But I know your sitting down, and your going out, and your coming in, and your rage against me. Because your rage against me and your pride have come up to my ears, I shall put my hook in your nose and my bridle in your lips, and I shall turn you back by the way which you came. And this shall be the sign for you. This year you eat such as grows of itself, and the second year what springs from that, and in the third year sow and reap, plant vineyards, and eat the fruit of them. And the remnant who have escaped of the house of Yahuda shall again take root downward and bear fruit upward. For out of Jerusalem comes forth a remnant, and those who escape from Mount Zion, the ardor of Yahuah of hosts does this. Therefore thus said Yahuah concerning the sovereign of Ashshur, He does not come into this city, nor does he shoot an arrow there, nor does he come before it with shield, nor does he build a siege mound against it. By the way that he came, by the same he turns back, and into this city he does not come, declares Yahuah. I shall defend this city to save it for my own sake, and for the sake of my servant David. And a messenger of Yahuah went out and killed in the camp of Ashshur 185,000. And they arose early in the morning and saw all of them dead bodies. And Sancheriv, the sovereign of Ashshur, broke camp and went away and turned back and remained at Nineveh. And it came to be as he was bowing himself in the house of Nisroch, his mighty one, that his sons Adremelech and Saretzur smote him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Ararat, and his son Esarhaddon reigned in his place. Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 38. In those days Hizqiyahu was sick and near death, and Yeshayahu the Nevi, the son of Amos, came to him and said to him, Thus said Yahuah, Put your house in order, for you are going to die and not live. And Hizqiyahu turned his face toward the wall and prayed to Yahuah and said, I pray, O Yahuah, please remember how I have walked before you in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done what is good in your eyes. And Hizqiyahu wept bitterly. And the word of Yahuah came to Yeshayahu, saying, Go and say to Hizqiyahu, Thus said Yahuah, the Elohim of David your father, I have heard your prayer, I have seen your tears. See, I am adding 15 years to your days. And out of the hand of the sovereign of Ashshur I shall deliver you in this city and protect this city. And this is the sign to you from Yahuah, that Yahuah does this word which he has spoken. See, I am bringing the shadow on the sundial, which has gone down with the sun on the sundial of Achaz 10 degrees backward. And the sun returned 10 degrees on the dial by which it had gone down. This is the writing of Hizqiyahu, sovereign of Yahuda, when he had been sick and had recovered from his sickness. I said, Am I to go into the gates of the grave in the prime of my life? Shall I be deprived of the rest of my years? I said, I shall not see Yah in the land of the living. I shall no longer look on man with the inhabitants of the world. My dwelling is plucked up, taken from me like a shepherd's tent. I have cut off my life like a weaver. He cuts me off from the loom. From day to night you make an end of me. I composed myself until morning like a lion, so he shatters all my bones. From day to night you make an end of me. Like a swallow or a thrush, so I chattered. I moaned like a dove, my eyes look weakly on high. O Yahuah, I am oppressed. Undertake for me. What do I say? For he has spoken to me, and he himself has acted. Softly I go all my years because of the bitterness of my being. O Yahuah, by these are life, and my spirit finds life in all of them. Restore me and make me live. See, for peace I had what was bitter, but you have lovingly delivered my being from the pit of corruption, for you have cast all my sins behind your back. For the grave does not thank you, nor death praise you. Those who go down to the pit do not watch your truth. The living, he is praising you, as I do this day. A father makes known your truth to his children. Yahuah, come to save me, and let us sing my songs with stringed instruments all the days of our life in the house of Yahuah. For Yeshayahu had said, Let them take a cake of figs and apply it on the boil so that he lives. And Hizqiyahu asked, What is the sign that I go up to the house of Yahuah? Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 39. At that time, Merodach-Baladan, son of Baladan, sovereign of Babel, sent letters and a present to Hizqiyahu, for he heard that he had been sick and had recovered. And Hizqiyahu was pleased with them, and showed them the house of his treasures, the silver and gold, the spices and precious ointment, and all his armory, and all that was found among his treasures. There was not an object in his house or in all his rule that Hizqiyahu did not show them. And Yeshayahu the Nevi went to sovereign Hizqiyahu and said to him, "What did these men say, and from where did they come to you?" And Hizqiyahu said, "They came to me from a distant land, from Babel." And he said, "What have they seen in your house?" And Hizqiyahu said, "They have seen all that is in my house. There is not an object among my treasures that I did not show them." So Yeshayahu said to Hizqiyahu, "Hear the word of Yahuah of hosts. See, the days are coming when all that is in your house and what your fathers have stored up until this day shall be taken away to Babel. Not a matter shall be left, declares Yahuah. And they shall take some of your sons who are born to you, whom you bring forth, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the sovereign of Babel." And Hizqiyahu said to Yeshayahu, "The word of Yahuah which you have spoken is good." And he said, "Because there is peace and truth in my days."